Welcome to Honest Combos with Karen.
And Marcia. We're longtime biz besties bringing you along for the journey of building a business and life you actually want.
No fluff, no filters, just honest conversations about the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's get into it.
Welcome back. Karen and I are super excited to talk to you today about what real support is. If you've been an entrepreneur for a while, we know that you are probably like us or recovering us and white knuckling it and thinking that you have to do all of the things. And I talked about, becoming an entrepreneur because I went to the first networking meeting as a blogger and I saw all these business owners and they were asking each other for help. Like that was the actual format of the meeting. It was like you thanked someone for helping you, you asked for whatever it was you needed support with, and then I can't remember the third thing, but it was just amazing because in my life I've been supported by my sisters and my parents and teachers and whatever, but professionally, like, I just thought that I needed to have it all figured out. Like, when you have a job, when you're working, when you have a career, you're thinking, like, it's kind of the imposter syndrome, like, this is something I should already know, so it's weird. Like, asking for support is weird, but it's necessary, and yeah, I'm excited to dig in, and Karen, what are your thoughts?
You really hit like a touch point there where you're like, I think the thought of like asking for support, it really does make you feel vulnerable because it's like, I should already know. I should already have the answers. I don't want them to know that I don't know. I find that a lot of times, like in like a group coaching or like some sort of a community where it's like, networking and support and you're able to ask questions. A lot of times people don't take advantage of that feature because of that. Like, I don't want them to know I don't know. I don't want to ask a question and look stupid. I don't like it really is a thing. So if you have been feeling any of that, like, it is not just you. It is the actual like phenomenon that we all deal with, I think. And I see it on both ends, both as a coach and as someone who gets coached, because coaches need coaches. So it's on both sides. I see it from clients who maybe they don't reach out as often because they don't want to be a bother. I often do that as well as a coachee. I'm like, well, I don't want to ask that. She's going to be like, read the module, or why didn't I already talked about that last week, or whatever. So it really is a thing. And I'm glad we're talking about it because, we love to name it and get it out there so we can work through it. So yeah, so this is going to be a good one.
I love that you said that because I totally relate to that where it's like there's that fear of like asking for a specific thing because you're thinking like that person's going to be like, "Yo, dude, this was in our last call." Or like you just received an email with that information. Like there's always that little fear like I've already read it or I should already, It's like they have this whole database and that's what I will say that I like about the Magic Marketing Machine group that I'm in is that it was just herself and then she hired like some 1099s and so she has coaches who are also in it. So they actually will like answer questions. And so you don't feel like whenever you post a question, you're not like, "Oh my god, Jenna's going to see this and be like, okay, dum dum." Like like but there's like you don't know who's going to answer it, so you're kind of like the heat is off with all things in life. Like we do need support and we do need to ask for help and not worry that we're going to be the annoying little sister because I think too, Karen, that like you probably experience this where there's people who are like maybe they just really wouldn't do anything for themselves and so they like abuse the professional relationship that you had, and they just need this constant, reassurance, or they need the formulas, or they need whatever, and so that can be one of those things where you're like, "Okay, am I being like that person?" So, just think about who you are, think about how often you ask for support. And yeah, if you're paying someone, like you should 100% be like taking advantage. And you can always do like a disclaimer like, hey, I'm not sure if we've covered this in the group, but just wanted to touch base. And this is something I'm struggling with. Can you point me to a resource or whatever? You're not a bother, you're a customer.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that because it really is like, and I think it also comes from like sometimes if you haven't watched certain things or you haven't really fully availed yourself of what's offered to you in whatever membership or whatever coach program you're in, you can sometimes have like a little guilt of asking a question because you're like, she probably has covered it and I haven't even watched it or I haven't even attended the calls or I haven't, so that can be a little bit of it too, I think. So the support is in all forms. Like when you have especially paid for something, actually use it because that's the first step. That is support too. Like if someone has created a container, created content or, some sort of information and experience, whatever it is that you've signed up for, a retreat, sometimes you can go in person to a thing and still not fully participate, which seems kind of crazy. Like you're in person with the people and you're like not really there, so it's like, and you will know that, like, and again, we always talk about having a mirror moment, just being honest with yourself. So you have to really think like, am I fully using what I paid for? Am I fully taking advantage of what is offered to me? And a lot of the times, if the answer is no, that could also be why you're not reaching out for the support that you need, because in the back of your mind that you haven't even like taken all the action you can or taken all the steps you can to make that support have an impact. Because you could be asking a question that is already somewhere, or maybe you're feeling like you're behind because you haven't done modules 1 through 3 and now they're talking about 4. It's like all those kind of things can be happening. And so I'm a procrastinator. So I will sign up and do courses all day long so I don't have to take action. So I can relate to like being overwhelmed by information and overwhelmed by how many things I've signed up for. Think about all of that if you're like kind of having that moment of like, am I not taking advantage of the support? Because, we have to unpack. You cannot just smooth over it. You can't just do a drive by. Like you really have to stop at the house, go inside, check out the drapes. Like you got to really unpack it to be able to move past it.
Exactly. And I think that that is when you really should be time blocking and giving, like, putting it on your calendar and saying, this is when I'm going to dedicate this time and mental energy. Because even if you're procrastinating, like, it's still, I mean, you're going to get the benefit of it because you're going to have new information, but like it does take brain power. So like putting it on your calendar, but also I think what we're saying is really important for content creators too, for them to realize like, hey, some of your clients might be, if your clients have been ghosting you, like you might want to reach out to them and just say, yo, it's me. What kind of support can I provide for you? And then that takes the onus off of them to like, be reaching out to you because maybe they don't even know that they need support because we live in this world and we're like, we lose track of space and time. And that course I signed up for, it expires in September. And I'm like, I've just been, punting it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it this time. Okay, I'm not ready for it now. And it's like, I do wanna do the content, and there is a content library and everything, but, like, I just have been kind of overwhelmed with the way it was set up, and so, yeah, I think this is a valuable lesson for content or for coaches or consultants or whatever, is to provide your clients with the information. Just have the user experience be linear? I don't know. What am I saying, Karen? Like, just make sure that you're taking care of your people.
Yeah, no, I love this point because and I love that word because I'm sure people listening who are solopreneurs, you create something and you kind of put it out, someone signs up, and then maybe they logged in one time and you're like, what happened, right? And that is a big part of it. Is like one of the things Funnel Gorgeous, that's the place that I got certified as a certified as a master marketer. I'm like, I can't even remember what it's called because I don't use any of these things fully. Don't, we'll talk about that in another episode. Julie and Kathy, one of the things that they do when they have a course, which I really love, so I've started to do this in what I'm creating, is they don't just give you like content or like they don't just teach you the course. They actually like create avatars that maybe you can relate to, and they will actually do the implementation as that avatar and like give you those examples. And I'm like, this is genius because I'm sitting here as a coach and I'm like, okay, I get the concept, but now I also get to see Sarah, who's a coach. This is how she applied it. This is how she, and I'm like, this is so interesting. Like, why didn't I think of that earlier? Because it really takes it that step further. Is like, because sometimes that is extra support. Like, that extra, like, this is how you would apply it. This is the type of things that you can do with this thing. Like that extra step as a person who is coaching or creating a program or creating a course, or even if you're doing consulting, like just giving someone a plan. Cause I've had that too, like in my marketing agency, I would give everybody, I'm like, I gave you everything you need, step by step, 90-day plan, like do this, then that, now that, you should not have any questions, right? But yet they still had some questions, which is fine. But in like with them having questions, I was able to kind of say, okay, I need to tweak this. I need to show you, like, I can't just give you the step, but like maybe I need to go an extra step and say, like, this is how you actually would do the step. This happens, then try this. If that happens, try this. So doing those little extras, it's more work on the front end, obviously, for the service provider. But if your goal is to create like raving fans, right? People who want to buy everything you offer, who can't wait for the next launch you're having or want to join your membership or all the things, those little extra, that effort up top to like really make sure that they feel supported with the product or service that they bought from you, it really makes a big difference. So, yeah, I like that you brought that angle in.
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing too, is like I think we get in our heads and we're like, these people have been following along. I've been working with them for a while, and especially like in a group capacity. It's like you forget how important, or not how important, but how impactful it can be with someone going back to the very beginning. Because a lot of systems are flawed, and our operations and everything. And it's like what Julie and Kathy do with their avatars, like that's brilliant because it's like I'm just rushing through the stuff to get it done. And it might just be being held together, with duct tape and glue, but to see them start fresh with somebody new, it's like, "Oh, I didn't spend enough time on that," or that's something that I can work on. And it's really good because especially if you have people joining, like you don't know their backgrounds, like with the Success Secret Society, like we ask in the membership application, we say, "How long have you been in business?" And that gives us a little bit of information, but you want to be able to provide information that's going to help people at any like level, when they enter.
So let's talk about surface level support versus real support, because I know that can be a big one. And we talk about that with the society that we have created, that like it's not performative. I really think it's important to find that kind of community or that kind of container where you can show up as yourself. That people are real with each other, they know your values, you know theirs, we respect boundaries, we can like reflect vision back to each other like, oh Karen, you said, 3 months ago that you really wanted to be at this spot, in 90 days. How's that? How's it going? How's that working? Like people who really actually know that and care about that versus like just showing up to network and, get your one liner correct or your elevator speech or whatever they call it nowadays. But like people who really can just walk hand in hand with you, like even when it's hard, where you can show up and not have to worry about if you know the answers or if that was in the module 2 months ago, or like you can really come as you are, where you are, your stage of business. And it can be, everybody doesn't have to be at the same stage. It actually is better, I think, if they're not, because someone could have gone through the same thing you're going through now last year, and then they can share that experience and those reflections with you. So I think it's even better when it's a mix and it's not like everyone is at the same exact spot, because you can share and reflect and grow together, because there's never, we talked about that before too, like you're never going to stop growing. Like there's no magical time when you're like, I'm done, I've arrived, this is my growth, I'm good. Like everyone is always going to be growing, and so it's just finding a community like that where you have actual support and people who care. Like they care. Like if you don't show up, they're gonna be like reaching out and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" That is priceless.
That's so true, and that's why I think I never really connected with some of the business networking formats that I've tried, like BNI, where it's like, you have, which I get it, like it's gamified, so it's like you share how many one-on-ones you had and your referrals and all of that, but it's like it's so transactional, it's not relational, and that's how I've been from the get-go. Is like, I think that everything, if I'm going to put my time and energy and money into it, it needs to be fulfilling on a personal and professional level, as opposed to just, I don't know. Those things always freaked me out though, cuz it's like, if I know you're a bad plumber though, like I don't want to refer you to people, because then if you do a bad job with them, then they're going to, cuz my realtor, who is like a family friend, she referred this air duct cleaner and he came out like 4 times, and it was just a really bad situation. And so I'm like, I've never asked her for a referral since then, just because I don't know why she referred this guy to me, and I don't even know if we told. That was like a very trying time. That was when the youngest was diagnosed with asthma, and so anyway, that was the blur. Let's talk about, we've talked about all the support that you can get, but like the time to know when you should get support, like signals that you've been doing too much by yourself. I think that's like when you get stuck in the swirl, as Karen says, like with always questioning your next move, basically like overthinking everything, getting resentful, basically all the things that Karen and I have shared that we've done. That means that you're working in a silo and you're not getting the support that you need. So you need to like actively pursue it. You need to look for communities or networking groups, or even just friends, and like you can find them on Instagram. Like that was part of our challenge that we did. It was like take a tiny step and like reach out to somebody who you admire, and you're never going to get support without, well, I mean, you will get support, but just be brave enough to ask for it before you kind of want to just burn it all down or throw it over a mountain.
That's a new visual. I like that one. Throw it over a mountain. But yeah, no, I mean, it's 100% a good idea to like when you're doing well, you still can use support, right? Like it doesn't have to be, it's kind of the same thing. Like if, you think about like prayer, which we're not super religious here, but just go with the analogy. Like, people will say, well, you don't just pray when like things are crazy, or you're in the hospital. Like you want to pray every day. It's kind of the same thing. Like you want to get support even when you're doing well, even when things are going well, because again, new levels, new devils, you're always growing. There's always some type of momentum that you're trying to get going, and support will always be a good idea for that. So I like that you brought that in. Like, yeah, you always want to, you don't want to wait until like you're definite. Because sometimes when you get to that point, honestly, you just can't even see through that to get the support you need, because you're just so far down the rabbit hole, or the tornado of doom, whatever analogies I've used before. Like it can be hard to see your way out of that and even ask for what you need, when or even know that you need it at that point, because you might just be so like overwhelmed and under overthinking mode, all the things. So definitely don't wait until it's like a 3 alarm fire. I don't know if that's a really bad fire or not. I can't remember what alarm levels they go
I
through,
know
but
yeah.
anyway.
I think it's like, yeah, 3 or 4, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't wait for that. When you see the smoke, yep, that's when you want to, reach out.
Or even before that, because I think you brought up a really good point is that, like, you can actually when things are going really well, you can join communities and you can be that person that's further along the line who's mentoring other people and you're helping them. And then that like helps you build your confidence because you're like, hey, I really do know what I'm talking about. And you're assisting other people. And then like it is always going to happen. It's like, getting sick. Like we all, like everybody gets sick, everybody gets tired, everybody has financial situations that arise. Like, it's unavoidable, and so if you can go into a support system where you're the one that's supporting others, when that shoe drops and you do need support, people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, like, let me help her. She's been so generous, and she's helped so many people," and yeah, so it's not a matter of if or when. So, like, I would say even before you see the smoke, it's like get yourself in community, like I did with femworking, Like I was just a blogger. I was like, these girls seem cool, and I went, and then I started a business, and then I had that support from the get-go. And so that's why I build communities because I see the value in it, and I know like I would not have had the entrepreneur path that I did had it not been for that support from the get. So,
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's also brings to mind a point of like being in a community or, being in a sisterhood, a society, a networking group, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's not about trying to fix you. Right. And so that sometimes that could be something that will hold us back from reaching out and joining or getting support is because like we're like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm broken or, I need to fix something. So it's not about at all trying to fix you. It's just really supporting you in the growth and reaching whatever your vision is, whatever your goals are, personal, professional, like your whole person self goals. Like it's really just about supporting you in that pursuit and whatever comes up along the way and whatever obstacles, whatever celebrations, whatever milestones you hit and you need to have a little dance party. We're here for that, all that kind of stuff. It really is. So I don't want you to feel like, well, I'm not broken, so I don't need to join in any sort of groups. It's not about fixing, it's just really about growing and celebrating.
yeah, not being alone on the journey. Like, yeah. With all of that said, we do want to invite you to apply to join the Success Secret Society. We are on open enrollment right now through the end of July. So you have until July 31st to apply to be a member. And we're really excited because this is our first round and it's at the best price that it will be, 47 bucks a month. And so you can go to honestcombospodcast.com/SSS and the application is there. It'll take us about 48 hours to get back to you. And then we would send you the non-disclosure agreement and then have you join our support community. So if you have any questions, we're always available on Instagram. You can send us a DM and yeah, reach out.
Hit that follow button so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling extra generous,
Leave us a quick review. It helps more women find the show, and it honestly means the world to us.
and we really want to connect beyond the podcast. So come say hi on social.